In 1971, the American car market was changing. Fuel prices were rising, emissions laws were tightening, and Detroit's factories were losing their rhythm. Amid that shift, one small company tried to prove that innovation didn't always need a big budget. That company was American Motors Corporation, a name once spoken alongside Ford and General Motors, though with a fraction of their resources. Their goal was simple: build a true American muscle car that could stand its ground. The result was the AMC Javelin, a car that entered the market with confidence. But without corporate backup, it was lighter than its rivals, built with tight engineering, and carried the spirit of a company fighting for relevance. Half a century later, collectors are looking back at it again, not as an underdog, but as one of the last authentic symbols of Detroit's independent engineering spirit. As values rise, the Javelin is quietly proving that time has a long memory. By the early 1970s, Detroit's automotive core was under pressure. New federal safety and emissions rules were forcing redesigns, and profit margins were thinning with every new regulation. The big names, Ford, GM, Chrysler, still had vast budgets to retool their lines. But American Motors Corporation, the smallest of the Big Four, had to survive with limited capital and bold design choices instead of deep pockets. When AMC launched the Javelin in 1968, it wasn't trying to outsell the Mustang, it was trying to prove that independent engineering could still matter. By 1971, that idea was already being tested by an economy shifting under its feet. Still, the Javelin carried something the numbers couldn't show: a Detroit pride, shaped by designers who believed a style and balance could outweigh brute force in a city built on horsepower. That belief set AMC apart. Across the Midwest, in small workshops and backyard garages, a handful of enthusiasts have kept the AMC name alive. They aren't investors. They're mechanics who understand the worth of what they touch. One of them is Mike Thompson of Ohio, on Intervene, a retired machinist who bought a rusted 1971 Javelin AMX for $4,200 in 2012. What began as a weekend project slowly became a 10-year restoration of patience and precision. He rebuilt the 360 cubic inch V8 by hand, sourcing parts from forums, estate sales and old service, stations that hadn't changed. Since Carter was president, every gasket replaced, every line retorqued, until the engine idled like a story retold. When it finally started, the sound wasn't loud. It was steady, clean, the way Detroit engines used to breathe. For Mike, it wasn't just a car running again. It was proof that craftsmanship can still outlast the market that forgot it. His restoration spread through local car meets, then online forums, photos of the deep red AMX. Sanon Thumon Fet Dewed. Paint glinting under Ohio's sun. Not for sale, not for show, just a reminder that legacy doesn't need marketing to survive. By 20, classic car auctions were showing a pattern. Few expected, while Mustangs and Camaros stayed steady, AMC Javelins began closing bids higher than analysts had predicted. Collectors were finally recognizing their rarity. Production numbers tell the story. Fewer than 30,000 Javelins built in its strongest year, compared to hundreds of thousands of Mustangs. Scarcity, once a weakness, became its strength. At collector meets from Arizona to Pennsylvania, Sai to Retredes, restored Javelins started to appear more frequently. Each one carried a quiet pride. At the sense that time had proven their owners right, price guides soon caught up. Haggerty listed the average value of a clean AMC Javelin AMX at nearly $40,000, up more than 25% from just 5 years earlier, appreciation rooted not in hype, but in craftsmanship rediscovered. Investors often ask what makes a car collectible. The truth is simple: honesty. The Javelin never pretended to be perfect. It was raw, practical, and real. And that's exactly why people are buying it again. Every generation leaves behind a design that defines its values. For Detroit, that design was steel, formed by human hands, not software. The AMC Javelin stands as one of the last examples of that idea. A car's built by craftsmen, not corporations. The car's shape still tells the truth about its era. Long hood, fast back roof, balanced proportions. It reflects the confidence of a country that once measured success in horsepower and innovation, not production volume. Collectors say restoring a Javelin isn't just about owning one. It's about preserving a conversation between design and integrity. When you turn the key, you hear a language that Detroit no longer speaks in its factories. Today, as electric motors replace engine noise, cars like the Javelin remind us that progress and heritage can coexist. And that one doesn't erase the other. Detroit's heartbeat is quieter now, but it still echoes in the metal left behind. But the Javelin never aimed to be perfect. It aimed to be remembered, and in 2025, it finally is. In every generation, some machines fade quietly, until someone decides they mattered after all. The AMC Javelin is one of them, a reminder that history isn't lost. It's just waiting for attention. As collectors and restorers, they keep these cars alive. Detroit's story continues, not through corporations, but through the hands that still care about steel, sound, and simplicity. For investors, the Javelin's rise is a lesson that value follows authenticity. It's for the rest of us. It's a reminder that machines can hold memory, and memory is what keeps a culture alive. Detroit's skyline may have changed, but the spirit that built cars like the Javelin still runs. Beneath the rust and glass, it's there in every bolt turned, every engine restarted, every story remembered. And as the road stretches forward, the sound of an old AMC engine fades into it. Not as noise, but as proof that endurance still has a voice.